Hours and at times tense up with the Occupy DC protesters and police came to an end with 31 arrests.
Late Sunday night, we heard they were arresting people at McPherson Square and something about a two-story structure the protesters had built in the park. As we arrived in D.C., it seemed like any quiet Sunday night. Within 2 blocks of McPherson Square, a couple of blocks from the White House, you begin to hear the roar that sounded like a raging party. There were cops staged as backup a block away, which ironically looked as if they were guarding Starbucks. As you walk into Occupy DC, tents, flags, and tarps were stretched the length of the entire block like a makeshift village or refugee camp. This village had an information center, community meeting areas, even a library. Out-of-order porta potties outnumbered functional ones from the weeks of occupation. The camp had a vibe to it that felt somewhere between Woodstock and the Arab Spring. The protests seemed to have drawn the typical eclectic DC crowd. There were veterans, soccer moms, hipsters, suit and ties, as well as the expected hippies. A ways into the camp, you see what first looks like an emergency rescue at a construction site. Silhouetted by intense lights is the unfinished wood frame structure. But it's not. The U.S. Park Police had been removing protesters one by one with a cherry picker and a rope over the course of several hours.
We built this structure last night, which is a temporary structure. It can take down an hour. We built it so we could have GAs inside a building without rain or cold or any of that. It's a multi-purpose facility and for people to sleep in too. And basically what happened was the Federal Park Police came, told us we had to leave, and we said no. And so there was about probably nine of us inside the structure, and then about 6 people on top of the structure. And then what happened to me was I saw them start using the horses to corral people, and so, you know, I got really pissed off, and then I started yelling at the cops, and then the cops came back in and were like, you need to stop talking, and then I politely told them to shut the hell up. Not really, but and then I held on to the beam. They started ripping me off the beam, and then about 5 dudes threw me on the ground, and then the one guy put a taser to the back of me and was like, if you move, you're gonna get tased. And so then I spent like 7 hours in jail.
Once the rope was tied, you could see the pressure points and the uncomfortable police techniques were being utilized to get the protesters to let go, and then pulled into the cherry picker, brought down and arrested, where they were charged with crossing a police line and had to pay a $100 fine.
What were you arrested for?
What were you arrested for?
I got a misdemeanor for crossing the police line.
When did you cross the police line?
At 1:30 this afternoon.
How did the police treat you when you were arrested?
Nothing up.
The person I've been sharing a tent with reacted a little bit and tackled him, so we got a little bit roughhouse. I had a dislocated knee cap, but better now, pop back in.
Were you given medical attention?
No.
Were they rude with you?
They were okay, I guess.
After 30 arrests, the sole protester left on the roof of the structure just happened to be named David, which soon drew chants of David beats Goliath. All of the media was there, waiting and some hoping that the whole powder keg would explode. The crowd operated in a very grassroots way. If someone wanted to be heard, they would scream,
"Mic check! Mic check! Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for what you're doing.
You will win this one.
You will win this one.
Because you're right.
Because you're right.
Most seemed angry and some just curious.
Over and over again, this is not going to stay a peaceful protest. It's not going to stay a peaceful movement. Somebody's going to get sick and tired. Windows are going to get broken and lives are going to get lost.
David was the last protester left. After 7 hours plus on the top of the structure, David did what anyone would do. He peed. This made it seem once again like we were at a concert by the crowd's vocal love and enjoyment of his urinary act of rebellion. Right on cue, as the crowd was at its most confident, the U.S. Park Police mounted unit rode in on horseback like apocalyptic black knights. The crowd intensified for a few minutes. Park Police for a moment looked as if they were getting ready to escalate the situation, which had me tightening my gear and quickly planning my own safe exit once the gas was to start flying. All calmed when David was removed from the structure by falling onto an inflatable cushion provided by the DC Fire Department. Within minutes, it felt like I had stayed at a party past the climax. In the end, the structure came down. There was no pepper spray, tasers, major injuries, or violence from either side. The protesters were heard. The police protected public safety and property. This is the way the Constitution was designed and the country meant to function in a healthy, democratic way.